Hi, hello everyone. My name is Paula. I'm here with Carlos, which is today's speaker. I'm going to be introducing the talk and what we do today here. So meanwhile, if you can let me know in the comments if you see us and listen me correctly. Well, as I said before, hi everyone. I'm happy to see you here. I see many faces or names that have been in other events. So I'm really happy that you have came back. My name is Paula. I work at Ironhack in the marketing department, and I organize events and webinars. And today we are celebrating the 4th event about cybersecurity in our cybersecurity week at Ironhack. And we have Carlos Valderrama with us, who is going to talk about defending networks like a Spartan. You'll see this talk is about what is his experience as a cybersecurity expert, but also how companies work around cybersecurity, and also what do you need and what tools you need and what it's really like to work in the cybersecurity field. He has more than 20 years of expertise, so I'm sure you'll learn a lot. I just super quick before we jump, there are some things I want to talk to you about and some rules about how Crowdcast works in case you haven't been here before. Ironhack is a tech school. We have courses in UX UI design, web development, data analytics, and now cybersecurity. We have created a landing page about our cybersecurity week that it's in the button green down below. And you can check out what Ironhack is at ironhack.com too. And also about Crowdcast, during the webinar today, Carlos is going to be presenting and talking in the meanwhile. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the ask a question below. He will try to answer to them if there is something urgent or if there are any technical difficulties. I'll be here to support you, but otherwise we'll mostly reply the questions at the end, okay? I think that's it for my side. I'm gonna let Carlos introduce himself and let's get it rolling.
Thank you, Paula. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for being here, and thanks for having me. My name is Carlos Valderrama. I'm gonna present about what it takes to be a cyber defender. I'm using the Spartan concept. I'll explain why I'm using that concept. Let me share my screen. There you go. Okay, I'm really excited to present about this topic. This is one of my favorite topics in cybersecurity. Is my specialization as well. So about me, basically, I've been in this industry for more than 20 years. I've been specializing in digital forensics and incident response over the last 12 years, and in SOC environments over the last 8 years. I've been working on threat intelligence as well, and involved in large-scale investigations regarding massive hacking campaigns in public and private organizations. I've been involved in different initiatives, like tutor and mentor in different universities and study programs. And I've been selected as the SME in cybersecurity for Ironhack. Today I'm going to talk about what it takes to become a cyber defender, as I said before. So this is my own experience as well with the Spartan race. So I'm using that parallel. So it's how you start, with that energy, with all that power in before the race, and very clean, and then you end up really exhausted and really dirty. But at the end, you get the medal, right? So that's what I'm going to talk about. I hope this talk is interesting for you guys, and you can consider joining this fantastic industry. So I'm going to start covering some basic concepts here. Defensive security is one of those areas, one of those, let's say, specializations in cybersecurity that is based on protecting networks. But this is considered now quite a old concept, because the idea here is to protect networks, is to deter attacks, is to deal with cyber risks, but from a very static point of view. So you need to detect threats, you need to investigate threats, but always, as I say, very, very passive. So this is a concept that has been evolving. You can find some companies and some products that are still working in this model. And then you have offensive security, which is basically what is called hacking or penetration testing, all that area. So what you do here is basically discover exposure for organizations. You find vulnerabilities, you exploit those vulnerabilities, you break in systems, and you need to determine the data exposure as well. It sounds really fun. It sounds really interesting, and it is, of course, but starting in that area is not easy. You need to study a lot. You need to get trained on different things. It's evolving rapidly, so everything you learn today could be useful for limited periods of time. You need to measure risk and impact, and you need to support the remediation for the organizations you get offensive security. And then you have cyber defense. This is what I'm going to talk about today. So in cyber defense is it's a little bit the combination of offensive and defensive security. You work on anticipation, so you need to understand how the cyber attackers behave. So this is what you need to understand, and you need to be quite used to do offensive security, penetration testing, breaking systems, and so on. But you need to understand defensive security as well. You need a tactical structure, so you need to know how to put the elements the right way. So this is more like a security architecture that you need to know, because it's part of the defensive strategy as well. So that's why you need to understand. You need to know how to position elements in a tactical way in the organization, the network. You need to work on operations from the proactive point of view instead of the reactive point of view. As I say, the old concept is more static, more reactive. So these days, what is really tackling cyber attacks is the proactive model. You need to have early detection mechanisms, and you need to engage adversaries instead of the way around, just waiting for the adversary. So this is why you need threat intelligence and some other elements I will talk about later on. And one very important element that you need to have in cyber defense is response. You need to be able to respond to the incidents. You need to be really used to work in that stressful moment, dealing with an incident. So I'm going to start with these Spartans labeling. Let's put it that way. I'm using this concept because I really like the philosophy and the way the Spartans used to protect their cities. So the concepts are basically this wall of men instead of bricks. So it's like a very solid protection over there. So the adversaries know that they are there and they are very solid. That's a very clear, very powerful message to the adversaries. they have a social structure. So there is a social element over there, so they really care about people, about their people, so that used to be very important for them. They used to have a strategy. So their strategy used to be to protect their city, to protect their population, and a tactical structure. So is how they need to position the army in order to protect their people. And then a proactive approach. So it's like the battles they used to have. They knew that they had some adversaries coming to their area, so they never stepped back and waited for the attack. They had that proactive approach, so they used to look for the adversaries in the areas they really knew about. So that's really important in cybersecurity as well. They used to have a very strict training program, so that is a crucial element as well. They used to have a philosophy and a code of honor. So I'm just considering this message, this text from Thucydides, which is it was the common perception at the time that the Spartan will never lay down their weapons for any reason, be it hunger or dangers. Is what you really want to have in your organization in terms of the cybersecurity team protecting your network. So how to become a cyber Spartan? So let's see what it takes, what you need in order to become a cyber Spartan. The requirements basically are you need some human skills, you need some technical skills, you need a mission, you need a vision, you need to create a mindset, a security mindset. You need a training plan for sure, and you have to consider this non-stop learning thing, for your entire career, because you don't stop learning, you don't stop reading, you don't stop practicing whilst you're in this industry. Human skills, I'm listing some human skills, so you can see it's really important to develop human skills. I'm not talking about soft skills or hard skills. Those are concepts are not, I don't think are very well aligned in the industry. So I prefer to call them human skills and technical skills. So in terms of human skills, problem solving is one of them. Attention to detail, verbal communication, desire to learn, leadership, passion about learning, determination, collaboration, self-starter, customer service, you name it. You have a full list here. So it's very important for you to have these human skills. One of the most important I consider here is time management. Is one of the things that you are dealing with always in cybersecurity. Is time. Time is gold in cybersecurity, and we'll see why. Technical skills, I have a long list here as well, so I'm just highlighting the ones you want to start with. Networking, computer basics, system internals, so this is Windows internals and Linux internals, OS X, Mac internals. You need to know the systems internally. You need to understand how the firewalls, IDS, IPS work. You need to research and learn the information all the time. You need an analytical mindset and a security mindset. You need a technical aptitude as well, and data privacy and security knowledge to start with. The rest of the skills are the ones you want to build. And it's a long journey. You don't pretend to get all these skills in a month time, in 6 months time. This is something that you need to develop in your career in a matter of years. So let's go for it. Let's see what you can do in this industry. So here there is the representation of any organization in terms of the blocks, the elements, the most important elements any organization is built upon is basically people, process, and technology. So the organizations scale by combining people and processes. They automate based on the combination of technology and those processes, and they innovate through technology and people. So you need to understand that any company nowadays, especially during these challenging times, is always looking to scale up, is always looking to automate, because automation is something that is very popular these days, and is the technology that is taking us there. And of course, innovation is a key element. So these are the concepts you need to understand before landing your first job in cybersecurity. You need to understand that organizations have a strategy, tactics, and operations. So once you want to look for your first job, you need to make sure you understand all these elements from the company you are looking to work in. So once you understand this, you're ready to start to land your first job in that organization. What you can find in reality, this is more like my own experience, and my own process when I did my Spartan race. Every time I do it, it's like, okay, these are my expectations. This is what I think I'll find. This is what I think is going to be the whole race. The obstacles. How I'll do that. But when I start, I find things in a complete different way. I find the obstacles a lot more challenging. I find more difficulties in that journey, actually. So you'll see this as well in this industry. What you can find is when you land your first job is there are hierarchies in those organizations. Those hierarchies are really breaking some of those basic rules in the industry. So the knowledge is not shared, is not going through the team. It creates divisions. It's really difficult to manage. So you have like different teams. They don't share knowledge. They don't share experience. So you can find yourself in that situation. So you need to start considering that it could be challenging. It could be overwhelming at some point. Then you see that there's a lot of technology in cybersecurity. So there is infrastructure security, endpoint security, application security, messaging security, threat intelligence, cloud security, SOC, data security, mobile security, you name it. So you can see that every single element over there is a technology you probably need to learn about. So again, could be really overwhelming. And this is, again, my own experience dealing with those races. It's like I thought any of those obstacles wasn't that hard, and then it's like, okay, now I need to deal with it. So let's go for it. So you see that that technology is not standardized in most of the cases. There are too many vendors. There are too many protocols. You have device protection, network protection, user protection. You don't know where to focus. Is quite static. The way it evolves is really complex, and there are plenty of frameworks. And then you have some elements, some of those technologies on premises, and some other technologies on the cloud. And then it's like, how can I combine all those two? So are you ready for the battle? Is now that you're there, you need to deal with different security alerts. So it could be overwhelming. It's underrated most of the times by management. Management sometimes is like, yeah, come on, that's easy. You have 1,000 of alerts, that's fine. You just need to go one by one. It's okay, but it's 1,000. So I cannot deal with all of them. It's time consuming. It's demoralizing. There is most of the times lack of context, and it's very reactive. It's always like, okay, there is a fire, we need to firefight. So once you get breached, you see that in those organizations, the whole process, the incident response process is very slow. Is again firefighting. So you say, go for it. Now that is burning. There is a lack of preparation. There's a lack of resources. It's very expensive. Incident response is always expensive because it's when you take it from that perspective, from the reactive perspective, and it's usually externalized. So you have some specialists come in, and then, okay, we need to deal with these. Get evidences and try to isolate some systems, and it's always a difficult situation to deal with. And there's a lack of a strategy over there. So we see how we can get these things resolved. And then at some point you have the organization like, yeah, but you don't need to worry. We have a manual. Just refer to the manual. Say, what? I don't understand anything over there. It's really complex. I cannot read all this. I cannot comprehend all this information to deal with the incident. And then, okay, so just look for the frameworks, what the frameworks are, NIST, ISO, so what are they saying is that you have too many different frameworks. You have the complexity in those frameworks is too high. They need a strong management. So it's not just a matter of understanding the framework and just applying what you find over there. They need vision, they need leadership, they need a strategy, and those elements are basically the ones that need to be deployed by management, not by you. And then what to focus on. You don't really know where to start. Okay, so how can you really start? It's not. I'm not trying to show that cybersecurity is just like a burnout job all the time. The thing is, these are the elements, the things, the situations you can encounter, and this is the way you can deal with those. So this is actually the path that I followed in my career, and that made the difference. So you need to start with baby steps. You don't need to start like trying to understand all those different technologies and to work with all of them in a matter of days. You need to start training consistently. You need to start with simple concepts. You need to start practicing every day. So that is crucial. That is like going to the gym. You need to join the community so you can learn from some other people. You can learn from someone else's process. And you need to consider that you never stop learning. So if you really like learning and learning and learning nonstop, this is the industry you want to focus on. One of the concepts that I encourage organizations and specialists in the cybersecurity industry to focus on is more like, instead of roles, instead of positions, instead of let's say like labeling conventions, what you really want to focus on is on missions. So it's like once you join a team, is we have a mission, and I want to understand the mission I have in this organization. How can I perform the right way for this organization? So I'm listing here some specializations in cybersecurity, but I consider those missions, because there are objectives, in every single mission you need to accomplish, and that's what you need to really care about. Accomplish the mission, accomplish the objectives. So threat monitoring, what it takes, what is needed, to be or to have the information, the tasks that you have in threat monitoring. So I have listed what a mission is here, but I think the most important one is the last statement, which is an important goal or purpose that is accompanied by a strong conviction and a calling or vocation. That is what you want to focus on. And if you really like this, if you really like cybersecurity, that's the best way to start with. Understanding your mission in that organization or your mission in the community is really important. So cyber defense in a nutshell. Basically, what we do in cyber defense is on the left-hand side, we have visibility. So we have all the devices that organizations have, firewalls, web pages, hypervisors, switches, routers, servers, you name it. All those elements are creating data in a daily basis. Let's say every single second, you have tons of data coming from those devices. So you have all that real-time machine data. That real-time machine data is going somewhere. In this case, is a SIM. I'll talk about that later on. So you have all those elements over there. So you need to cross-correlate all the information over there and perform the analysis. So this is the area you as a security specialist, as a security analyst, will focus on. So you need to work with alerts, monitoring, threat monitoring, analytics and visualization. You need to search and investigate to determine whether there's an incident or not. And you have to create dashboards and report for the organization you're protecting. And then there are some other lookups you want to work on to enrich your investigation, which is data stores, asset information, employee information, threat feeds. This is more like threat intelligence elements that I'll talk about later on. And then with that, what you need to produce is actionable alerts, security recommendations, and monthly reviews. This is what you need to deliver to your client, to your organization, in order to consider your mission is accomplished. So this is a little bit in a nutshell in terms of modules. So you can see you have the security stack based on some logs coming from all those devices. NetFlow is a important element to consider here, which is the information, the network information you need to deal with, which is really, really challenging. We'll talk about later on. And EDR, the endpoint detection and response. This is the old antivirus element that is been evolving, and now is a more proactive element we use to block cyber attacks. So you have aggregation, it's log aggregation, information aggregation. So you have detection. So you need to have some detection mechanisms here in order to create those alerts. You have analytics. Very interesting tools you work with. It's more like the classic business intelligence tools that have been evolving in cybersecurity and focus on cybersecurity. So we have like our own analytic tooling in cybersecurity that we use to detect cyber attacks. And then we investigate. So we need knowledge, we need experience dealing with those things, with those cyber attacks. And then there are some actions you need to articulate. It's like you need to block network traffic in the firewall. You need to disable user accounts. You need to isolate systems. We'll see what it takes. So what's an attack? This is, I want to consider this more like a very simple and very, let's say, granular concept at the same time, which is not easy. So I simplified this in 3 different concepts: is the capability, a threat, and a risk. But capability is what a threat has. So threat, you can consider a threat. There is a cyber attack. There is a attacker behind a threat. So that attacker, that person, is got a capability. Sometimes it could be automated, so you can find like a bot, like a botnet, or that is already automated to perform most of the actions. So that capability basically is based on tactics, techniques, and procedures. This is what we call in the industry TTPs. So those are the things that you need to look for in order to determine whether there's an incident or not. And then the threat, the 2 elements that you need to look for: there is an intent. So there is someone, something trying to exploit something, trying to access the network in a let's say irregular way. And then there is a opportunity. And then the risk is based on these 2 elements, vulnerability and impact. So the combination of sorry, the combination of those elements are what you need to look for. Sorry about that. Crucial concepts here. Event is a change in the everyday operations of a network or information technology service. So an event could be like a regular thing, but could be a suspicious behavior as well. So this is what we need to work on. Determine, hey, this is suspicious, this is not suspicious. A threat is the possibility of a malicious attempt. So I'm highlighting here the the important concepts, because a threat, in order to find a threat, there should be a malicious attempt. There should be someone or something trying to cause damage or disrupt a system or a service. And then an incident is that actually is looking for jeopardize the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of information systems. Okay, so you can see that there are some elements here that are highlighted. Security policies. So it means that that organization, that client needs to have a security policy in order to determine, hey, this is a suspicious event. There should be a really good knowledge of what malicious is and what non-malicious is in that organization in order to determine there is a threat or not. And then in terms of incident, again, you need to have security policies, you need to have security procedures, and acceptable use policies. If you don't have those, it's really difficult for you to determine if there is an incident over there. Once you have all those elements in place, the way to spot incidents is basically, looking to all those different elements, finding threats inside those events, and then if you cross-correlate and let's say one event is someone trying to scan the network, next event is someone trying to exploit a service, next event is someone connecting to your network through that specific service, that specific port that is being exploited. And then next event is someone changing the password of a user in that service. So that's a complete chain of the attack. So that's what you need to investigate. That's what you need to find. And this is the way to do it. So you have different events. You find those threats in those events, and then there is an incident. And then sometimes you find false positives. Is a user that is scanning, or a network administrator that is scanning the network in order to find vulnerabilities internally. So you have that alert, and it's okay. It's a false positive because it's an internal network administrator doing that. Or we have an exercise. We have like a pen tester, doing an exercise and testing our systems. So this is the way you spot and classify incidents. So this is the flow. Basically, on the left-hand side, we have the logs and that and the network traffic. So we have aggregation, correlation, analytics, as I said before. And then you have an investigation. So you can see that the whole orange block is events. So those are events. So that you don't find incidents over there yet. Once you investigate, once you see something suspicious, then you need to classify. You can classify those in like a false positive, like an exercise, or an incident. Once is labeled, tagged as an incident, you need to prioritize and define the actions you need to go through. So that's why we go to the incident response flow. You need to work on preparation. So you can see that the incident is the red block. The red block is covering from detection through recovery. So it means that you need to be prepared beforehand. You cannot work on preparation when the incident happens. You have to be prepared already when you have an incident. And then at the end of the process, you have the lessons learned, which is like the post-mortem analysis, the post-incident analysis, to see what worked well, what failed on that process, and how you want to improve in the future. And this is the whole composition of detection and response. So you can see again on the left-hand side, aggregation, all those flows coming, all that traffic coming. You have correlation, analytics. That's the event land, and then you have prioritization and action. So you can see that the blocks at the corners, you have aggregation on the top left, and then on the top right you have prioritization and action, and then you on the bottom left you have preparation, and then on the bottom right you have lessons learned. Those are elements that you have to have in place beforehand, before running investigation, before finding a incident. And the other elements, the orange blocks and the red blocks, are the ones that you need to react at that point in time. So you have to be ready. You have to have the knowledge in order to deal with those. By the way, let me ask if there are some questions here. Let me just have a look at questions here.
There are some questions in the Ask a Question section. I don't know if you want to, I can read them out loud if you prefer.
Let me see. We have one question here. Mm-hmm. It's got 3 votes. Let's go for that one.
Okay. I think this is going to be like a warming up one. Do we say this is a Sparta when we succeeded to defend a hack?
100%. 100%. Yeah. This is what you want to say once you have that cyber attack tackled, and you have information about the cyber attacker. So that is definitely successful.
Cool. There is another one with 3 votes. Maybe we can answer that one next.
Yeah.
It's some previous knowledge, development, telecoms necessary to start learning cybersecurity, or you can really start from zero?
You can really start from zero. Actually, the thing is, you need to consider that there are some previous, as I said before, concepts that you need to understand. If you ask me what element to start learning about, I would say networking is the most important one. TCP/IP is what you need to have. Probably the whole OSI layers you have to have almost tattooed in your skin.
Okay, cool. If you want, we can leave like the rest of them for the end, and you can continue with the slides.
Okay, let's go back to the slides. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about SIEM. SIEM is one of those elements that we use in cyber defense. Is security information event management. This is a very important element that is being used by most of the organizations, and you need to understand, you need to get knowledge of, and you need to get used to it as well. What it does is log aggregation, is log normalization. So it collects logs from different sources, and it aggregates that to the and normalize the logs the right way. So the timestamp is the same for all the different devices. As you can envision, this is really challenging because most of the different log sources are different. Different vendors, different technologies, different protocols. So some of those technologies have, like, for instance, for timestamp, they use UTC. Some other vendors, they use like local time. So you need to translate. You need to normalize those logs the right way in order to have, this event is happening at the same time that this event. So they correlate to each other. You need to parse that information. Again, different vendors, they use like different structure, log structure. So you need to parse that the right way in order to have the right log timestamp with the times of the other one, because they, most of the vendors position the timestamp in different fields. So you need to parse out that information. You get information correlated over there. Once is parsed, once the logs are normalized, you create use cases. This is really important. And you create alerts based on those use cases. So one use case is, for instance, every time a internal user access the network after, let's say, 2 a.m. in the morning, which is not allowed, I want to get this alert, and I want to know who is connecting and what resource is connecting to. You can create reports using the SIEM and analytics, quite fancy dashboards you can use to present the results. And then the other element that is really, really important here for cyber defense is the ITSM. We used to have a ticketing system in the past. This is the way we used to deal with the different requests, with the different cases, with the different investigations. So we used to create, all those tickets, like the classic, the typical ticketing system. But now is ITSM what we really need, which is more complete. It's got like a ticketing system, but it's got some other elements that we need in order to work this the right way. So you have a service catalog, so you have clear information and a clear perspective of what services you are working on. You have knowledge management, so you can share the knowledge with your peers. So the knowledge is not just one person with that knowledge, with that information. Is is more like a collective information that I share with the entire team. This is really important. As I said before, what you find in most of the organization is just information spread out through the organization, and the real knowledge is based on someone's experience and knowledge. So you totally rely on that person, in a daily basis. Every time you find something, it's like you need to add that person. So ITSM is the right system to put that information the right way. So you don't need to ask that person. You just need to refer to the ITSM to find that information. Then you have asset management is really important, because those are the assets you want to protect. So you don't need to ask the network administrator about that asset. Is over there, and you have knowledge of it. There are some other elements here, like reports, dashboards that you can produce. But the most important here is incident management and problem management. Is something that you want to focus on in cyber defense, basically because it's got the whole life cycle of the event when it becomes incident, and the way you want to resolve that, the way the organization resolves the incident is crucial here. So ITSM is a very important element that organizations are adopting nowadays, and you need to understand that. Tip: this is a threat intelligence platform. Basically, what we do here is we operationalize threat intelligence. Threat intelligence is basically information about cyber attackers. What they do, how they behave, the tools they use, the protocols they exploit, the tactics they go through, their strategy as well. What they're looking for. My organization is, let's say, a financial institution. What are the typical attackers in the financial institutions? So I need to know that, because this is the right way to protect organizations. I'm not going to try to protect the organizations or my organization from a cyber attacker that is not interested in financial services. So I'm not going to invest money and time in that area, because I know it's not going to happen in my organization. So this is why it's very important to know your adversaries. You need to have the data centralized. You need to collaborate with the rest of your peers. The team needs to be adaptive. It needs to be agile, because the information should be real time. So you don't need to wait minutes or hours to get information about the adversaries. You have to have that information in real time. You need to have that information aggregated and integrated with the rest of your tools. You need to have the threat intelligence platform integrated with with your SIM. You need to have enrichment. You need to enrich the information you have here with human experience. So you can use the ITSM here as well to get this capability integrated with the tip. So the knowledge, the findings are always documented. So you have that enrichment happening. And then you have full visibility here. One element that I said before, and one of the questions as well, what to start with in cybersecurity, network knowledge. In this case, I'm talking about network traffic analysis. This is a crucial element in any investigation. You need to understand the network. You need to understand what the users are doing. And this is really, really hard. It's really difficult to collect all the information and store that information and analyze that information. It's really difficult. So there are very good tools out there, in the market for this purpose. So you can have very good information analytics around your network that will facilitate your investigation. So you can find patterns, you can find threats, and it's really, really crucial, as I say before, because it adds 50% of the visibility. So it's considered that 50% of the visibility comes from the logs and 50% comes from the network traffic. Sometimes it's more, even you can get more information from network traffic than from logs, but this is a little bit the relationship between network information and logs. Then we got this new concept, this new technology called SOAR, which is security orchestration, automation, and response, which is basically automation in cybersecurity. We take in automation as DevOps, kind of DevOps concept in cybersecurity. So we have all those processes, all those workflows, and we create automation around them because they are repetitive. So we can automate those, and this is the best way to scale cybersecurity. So you need to centralize the information. You need case management in your ITSM. You need standardization. So it's not like every time I do things the way I think is the best. You need to have a standard to create those workflows and those playbooks. And again, integration is very important internally and externally. Internally is all your tools or your systems internally, and externally is cloud services, providers, collaborators, and some other organization externally. And then you need to improve the processes and the workflows continuously. So you can see that you can prioritize, you can detect, you can triage, and you can respond using SOAR. So what you need to have is threat intelligence. So the tip is really important here to have these connected and talking to each other, and the orchestration happen when exactly all those elements are in the same page, because the logs are normalized, so it's like speaking the same language. So that's why it's so important to work on the previous elements in order to reach this level. But this is more like a very high level, very Spartan level. In terms of rapid response, again, this is very, very high level. So you need to consider that you need to respond to the incidents on the cloud, on-prem, and on endpoints, especially during these times during COVID. Is we see how the security is changing just because the users are focused on working from home. So we have a lot of traffic on the endpoints and on the cloud and on-prem. Data centers, the offices, the business facilities. We have minimum data, and we have minimum traffic. We don't have a lot of things to investigate over there, so we don't see a lot of threats over there, but we see a lot of attacks focused on endpoints and on the cloud. You need to perform the initial forensics analysis, memory collection, and a little bit the process that I presented before. But what you want to work on is on isolation. Once a system is compromised, you have a ransomware, you have a real attack, you need to isolate that in order to prevent that ransomware to spread through the organization to the rest of the endpoints, the computers. You need to delete, you need to remove that malware, that ransomware, and you need to recover the system and the information. This is basically what it takes. Again, during COVID times, this is really challenging because we cannot just go and collect information, memory from the servers or from the endpoints, because everyone is working from home. So I could be involved in an investigation in Madrid, and then the real incident happened in New York. So I cannot just fly to New York to collect the hard drive and investigate. I cannot do that anymore. So I need to have the right tooling in order to collect all that information through the internet. So it's really challenging these times. That's all. Thank you very much. Let's go for some questions.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Carlos. It was really, really interesting. I see that there are some questions, so maybe we can go over that really quick. So one question is, what is the best route to attack an Instagram log algorithm, I guess, and not keep trace of it?
What is, let me read that properly. What is the best route to an attack, an Instagram logarithm?
I think it was an
algorithm.
Yeah. I think
I don't understand that question, to be honest. The best route to an attack, the best route to attack an algorithm in Instagram. Oh, that's a kind of funny question. I think someone is just asking for some hacking tips.
Cool.
Let's go for the next one.
Okay. Well, maybe you can read them so like they are more easy to answer for you. I feel like I don't know the topics as well as you.
No worries. Let's see. Yeah, let's go for this one. I'm wondering if most of the SOCs, network SOCs, have to deal with nowadays are virtualized. If so, do you go about using similar hardware-based technique solutions for security or software defined ones? It's a really, really good question. Thanks, Luis. Yeah, that is a thing these days. Most of the SOCs are actually virtualized. We used to have like physical SOCs, like very fancy video walls, and all the analysts facing those video walls. That's not happening anymore because of COVID again. So we can see that most of the security analysts are working from home. So we don't need those video walls anymore. So we use a complete different stack now. Everything is cloud-based. The techniques for security and the software-defined ones are really, really useful these days. So as you can see, Amazon is AWS, Google Cloud. The cloud services are growing a lot over the last few months, and this is impacting on SOCs. So I know most of the SOCs are now based on the cloud and are using different workflows, but the processes and the basic concepts and philosophy, they remain the same.
Cool.
Okay, that's on. Have you found it? Yeah, correct. Yeah, let's go for this one. There are no many reported attacks on cloud infrastructure and servers. Is cloud as safe as secure providers want to make us to believe or not? Good question, Sergio. Yes, this is a big thing. Let's put it this way. There are two different elements here. One is reported attacks. This is something that is not just impacting on cloud services. This is impacting the let's say the whole industry. There is a real lack of reporting in different organizations when it comes to report incidents. I think it's a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of information. So because they fear fines, they fear like the impact it could have in their image, so they avoid reporting attacks. But this is for any organization. I would say, during these days, the organizations are around, I would say, 80% of the organization or 80% of the services are based on the cloud and 20% on data centers or on premises. And so this is why, when you have a lot of traffic, a lot of services focused on the cloud, and you have this reporting issue, you see that it's like, okay, no one is reporting issues, reporting incidents in the cloud, but they are happening. I can tell you that we're investigating hundreds of incidents, and most of them are based on the cloud, but the organizations don't report those. So and this is something we cannot do. We cannot report. It needs to be reported by the organization.
Okay, so maybe the last one, and we can recap a little bit.
Sure.
There is one remaining that it says, I think like they already answered in the questions, but what is a network SOC?
Yeah, network SOC. I mean, it's like all these topics and these concepts have been used in different ways, but basically, as I said before, SOC is a security operations center. So sometimes you can find this concept of network SOC, like a SOC that is placed in your network, that is part of your organization, so is within your network. So this is like, hey, this is our network SOC. Is not the best concept, I would say. I prefer to refer that to like on-prem SOC. So we have a SOC here. There is the virtual SOC, as I said before, and one of the questions was focused on that. Is a virtual SOC is a SOC that is on the cloud, and that is not physically on the premises, and but it covers exactly the same in terms of security operations. So network SOC is more like an on-prem, a SOC, a security operations center that is part of the organization physically in the same facility, the same building.
Cool. Well, I think we can wrap it up a little bit. I don't know if you want to like review anything you talked about today, Carlos, and if not, I'll close the meeting for today.
Yeah, well, yeah, a little bit summarize, and basically in this area in cyber defense, there is a real talent shortage. Is really important to have talent coming to this industry, not only because is really challenging, and you can just make good money, in this industry, is because it's crucial for our society. As I said before, we are getting attacked in a daily basis in resources that are very important for the society. Private data, critical infrastructures, services that we use in a daily basis. And we need to protect those. And this is not just a matter of, let's say, saving money or headaches for a business, for the organization who owns that service, that system. Is for us as a society to protect those elements, because we are basing our society in technology. So if we allow attackers, hackers to compromise those, we are failing, in that progress in our society. So this is more like a call to action for people to consider joining this industry with these from this perspective that I presented today.
Okay, perfect. That's a great review. So I'm just going to wrap it up here since it's like 10:07 already. But thank you everyone for coming today. It was really interesting. I learned a lot from you, Carlos, and also I learned a lot this week in the webinars. Just as a reminder, if you haven't, please click in the button, in the green button, and in the form, in the landing page, register your email. That's going to be because tomorrow we're going to send a recap email with all the materials from the week and like some workshops you can attend and like some things you can check for yourself if you want to start in the cybersecurity world. So if you're interested, please register. And I think that's everything. I just want to thank everyone that attended every webinar and even people who only attended to one for giving us their time, and for every speaker that gave a webinar for your time too. So it was a pleasure, and thank you everyone. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, Paula. Thanks for having me. One question, just a quick question before we leave. Are we allowing some people to send some questions or comments afterwards? I mean, through email or something like that?
Sure. They can send us the questions through our social media accounts in Instagram, or if you want and you want to ask Carlos personally a question, I would suggest to connect with him through LinkedIn, right?
Correct.
But yeah, if you have any questions about cybersecurity, about the course, about the webinars, the information, make sure to reach us out through Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever you prefer, even email at webinars@ironhack.com. Or if not, if you have questions for Carlos directly, reach out to him through LinkedIn.
Thank you. Yep. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for
Bye-bye.
Bye.